So we thought we'd try out something new here. We got Oreo Sour Patch Kids.
You want to hold it up for the visual listeners?
The visual listeners can check out the picture. We're going to try it on camera.
And for the audio listeners, these are Oreo. Oh, you're going to do some... There you go.
Package opening.
Someone's very excited about all that sound.
Let's see how these are.
Oh, that's a good crunch. These are Sour Patch Oreos, if you can believe that.
It says Sour Patch Kids flavored cookie and cream with colorful inclusions. Whatever that is. Welcome back to Screen Time. So, Jared.
Yes.
Report back to me when it makes sense.
Yes. Oh, that was... Oh, I should have used that. That is good.
So, we're covering Burn After Reading, and that was a quote from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm your host, Josh, and I have my co-host, Jared, with me.
Maybe I can get a run in.
It's a good one. It's like all the time.
I know. He said it's slightly different every time, though, so I was trying to figure out which one I wanted to say. But
yeah, it was good. But yeah, so Burn After Reading.
Mm-hmm.
2008, rated R, an hour and 36 minutes. Good
length.
Good length, yeah. A disc containing mysterious information from a CIA agent ends up in the hands of two unscrupulous and daft gem employees who attempt to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So directors Joel and Ethan Coen, writers Joel and Ethan Coen, cinematography Emmanuel Lubezki,
mm-hmm.
Gravity, The Revenant.
Oh, really?
He DP'd those two as well.
Okay, I didn't look him up. I saw it was different, but I didn't look up what he did.
I noticed it was different, to be honest. I was like, this is good, but I was like, this. I honestly, I was like, there was, kind of, I was like, I didn't pick up on the intro if they mentioned it. I didn't,
no, I didn't see it.
Like, because some of the films, like, that'll be like, and cinematography, whatever. And but I was like, I was just noticing there was some stuff, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. But then I'm like, it does feel different. And then later I was looking up, I was like, oh, well, that's why.
That I could pick up on that. I couldn't tell exactly what it was, but I could tell it was a little different before I looked it up. And I was like, okay, this is our first one for a while. That's
Carter Burwell.
Yeah, still him.
Still him.
Still him till the end, I think. Pretty much.
Till present.
Yeah.
Production costs $37 million.
Okay, almost as much as Intolerable Cruelty.
Yes.
No, that was 60.
That was like really, yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah, not 40. I was thinking 40.
No Country for Old Men, which we covered last week.
Mm-hmm. What was that?
Only 25. Wow. So I was like trying to. Partly might be casting.
I think it's casting
because there's a lot more well-known actors in this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's but then some of it maybe is location. Because some of the shots, I mean, there were some scenes where they were definitely filming in DC.
That's what I was wondering, because
I don't know how much it costs to shut down roads and do some things there that maybe ups the cost. Whereas you're shooting out in the middle of nowhere in No Country for Old Men.
True.
You're not paying location fees and things.
I think you're right. I think it's cast and the location, because I was wondering about that. Because at times I wasn't sure, but certain scenes I was like, "This is for sure DC."
It's gotta be. Yeah. I mean, some of the
you
stuff
could tell.
You're like,
yeah. It's nice to have a movie set where we live or around where we live.
It was when we watched Lioness.
Yeah, that's even closer to us though.
Yeah,
that was than what this is, because this was more.
They were in DC basically area, right?
Yeah, but some of the stuff they shot very close to us, though. You were telling.
Well,
you were
yeah,
saying.
so that they were shooting in the mountains here, but like the rest of it was in like Alexandria area, whatever.
Same area as this, pretty much.
But I did notice that did get renewed for season 2.
Nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
Just made me think of it. Yeah, no Oscar nominees for this one.
Really, nothing.
Nope.
Okay.
All right, so we got, as we were talking about the cost to the cast, we have George Clooney, Frances McDormand, Brad Pitt, John Malkovich, Tilda Swinton, Richard Jenkins, David Roche, J.K. Simmons, Kevin Sussman, and Jeffrey DeMunn.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, yeah, he's the guy who played the cosmetic surgeon.
Oh, that's him?
Yes, he's the dad from Billions. If you watch Billions, that's the only reason I recognize him, because
I did watch Billions, but it's been a minute.
yeah. So he's what's the main guy?
Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti. He plays Paul Giamatti's dad in Billions. He's brutal in that.
Yeah,
like he's so manipulative to his son Anyway, so I was like, oh, because that's what I read. That's the only thing I think I've ever seen the guy in until
he did look familiar. Yeah, it wasn't
this film.
Yeah.
But yeah, and of course then Kevin Sussman from Big Bang Theory. He's like the comic book. He's the guy that owns a comic book store.
That's right. Okay, that was another one. Definitely looked familiar.
They were the ones that were further down that I pulled out because they were people I know, recognize for things, but they weren't like the rest of those were all kind of like the top of the list. But
so cinematography, you said Revenant and what was the other one?
Gravity. Those are the two I pulled out that I recognize. I mean, obviously he's done other stuff.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was anything else pretty big that this person has done. I mean, both of those are pretty great, though.
Yeah, he's probably. I didn't look it up, but didn't Revenant won Best Picture? Didn't it? It might have won.
It won something.
He might. So he might have even an Oscar for cinematography. Yeah. Might have been after
maybe
this
for that one.
But like Gravity, I think was nominated for a bunch of that crap too.
It was. Yeah, nice.
So if he didn't, he hadn't hit his stride yet.
I would say this was a little before that.
Yeah, but yeah. So Emmanuel. Yeah. So, what did you think of this film?
I was going to ask you, have you ever seen this movie?
No, I have not.
Have you heard of it?
Yes. Like, well, I remember the poster because I remember the title and seeing some and like Brad Pitt, like kind of like.
You would have seen the trailer because there's a lot of Brad Pitt doing what he does in this movie in the trailer. I vaguely remember that. Like,
so I kind of remember that stuff, but but no, I never seen the film itself.
Okay.
What about you?
I have seen this before. And
did you?
Yeah, I saw this probably 10 years ago. I mean, only once, but I remember liking it even then. So there was some stuff I didn't remember because it's been a while, but yeah, you should go first since you haven't seen this movie before.
I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it's a fun movie. I think
it is fun.
It helps that the runtime is like an hour and a half, basically. I think that really, makes it not drag out too much. But yeah, it was good. It was enjoyable.
Yeah. I can't really compare it to the first time I saw it. I remember liking it when I saw it the first time, but I don't know if I liked it more or not this time, but yeah, it is really fun. That's like kind of the word I put down for my overall thoughts. And also I think the comedy in this is like some of the best that they've done.
Yeah, I agree because it doesn't have quite the cartoonish.
Yes.
There's maybe a couple times where it got close,
but not,
like it never went down that path 100% like they have before.
Right.
So I think that helps it be a little more grounded.
Yeah, and the comedy, it seems, what's the word I use? It seemed a little smarter in this too. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I like it more than...
Yeah.
Because, some of their And not all of it hasn't been like bad. We've talked about some of the comedy they've done that we like, but in their movies. But this is a little more maybe smart. I mean, maybe a little more mature too.
Hmm. I also think it helps. I think the cast,
Yes.
the
That's a big part.
casting, I think not just.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there are some talented people in here, but I think just the roles they put them in really, like, also helps. I think it just really makes it.
Yeah, the specific, not just the actors how they played them, but the specific characters and their personalities. Yeah, definitely help a lot. Yeah, I really like this movie. I think especially, I think Brad Pitt is the best in this movie. Because it's very different Brad Pitt, but
Yeah.
it's so great, like the type of character he is in this. He's just a dumb,
Yeah.
like dumb fitness dude.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I have a note about him that I'll get to later.
Okay.
But I think he was one of the best in this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think they all
everyone
did pretty good. Like, well, again, they're all great, and
even George Clooney, I think, is better in this than in Intolerable Cruelty.
yeah.
More. Now again, very different character, but more how I liked him in like Oh Brother.
Yes.
But this, it's like his character too was like, it's just like, I don't know, just like it's hard to explain his character in this, but he played it very well in this. Kind of like the sleazy guy.
Yeah, but also a little paranoid.
Oh, for sure. Especially by the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a little manic the whole time.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very rash.
Yeah.
Too, with his decision making. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's get into let's talk about things you liked about it.
Yeah, I only got 4 notes. I don't have a whole lot with this movie. I mean, I like it overall, but I don't have a lot of specific scenes or moments. But there wasn't really anything, because I was gonna write a note. Because normally with a lot of these movies, I usually just write out stuff that sticks out to me, and I need to start also doing that with like if there's stuff that really I don't like either. Because I know you mentioned that.
There's a couple times things that things that work and don't work. And
exactly. Yeah.
You can like a movie and still find some things you don't think that work well in it.
Yeah, and I don't normally remember to do that with like stuff I don't really like, to specifically point it out and make a note of it. But there's not really anything I can really think of in this that I was like, this is really bad or dumb. Which is good, because there's some stuff actually we just did a little while back in Intolerable Cruelty that's like really bad, that movie. Yeah. So they've had some points where
yes. Well, I was going to say, so I think it's interesting because like I think that's a perfect example of like, in a lot of ways they're the same movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just like kind of randomness and chaoticness of things that happen in this mix of people, and somehow their lives are all intertangled because of these little different crossing points. And I think, I mean, there's been several of these films. They kind of repeat the same kind of style of storytelling. Yeah. I think this is definitely one of the better ones of that.
I agree.
I think it's kind of like I think they have a couple formulas that they like to work with, and they kind of repeat them. That we're kind of starting to see, just like watching all these movies back to back. That, like, I mean, again, I'd say not to the T, but like a lot of ways, I would say, No Country for Old Men and Fargo are not that different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I think it's interesting to just
you could throw Blood Simple in that.
Yes.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kind of similar too. But yeah, I think also, now I don't know about, because the next movie after this, I don't know anything about, but I was mentioning how Intolerable Cruelty Lady Killers, kind of like their low, and then, but then right after that they did No Country, which is such a huge um, movie again, such a great movie, and then this one too. After they're kind of hitting their stride again, because we talked about kind of that late '90s, or no, I guess mid to late '90s was kind of a high for the Coens as well. From like Hudsucker. No, I guess most of the '90s. Cause I really liked Barton Fink too. I'm trying to remember where
when you had O Brother and Fargo in there, right?
Yeah, Fargo was '95. That's what I mean. Hudsucker was right before that. Big Lebowski was like late '90s. You know, so there was like a lot of pretty much most of the '90s, and then going into right into the 2000s. But then that mid 2000s, it's kind of like their low point. But it seems like this is kind of them going back up for sure.
A couple, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know about the next movie.
Well, I've got a couple things.
Okay.
So I thought the opening was interesting with the satellite zoom into, which I don't really. I feel like I was like, maybe this is one of the early uses of that. I feel like it became a very cliche thing to do. I mean, we even did it in like some commercial stuff, like probably more in like early 2010s, but like, so I feel like this, I was trying to think, I'm like, when did I first be kind of aware of this and try to recreate that in a couple things? And I feel like that was around, so it would have been, 3 or 4 or 5 years after this film. So I'm like, maybe that was the, first, one of the first people to do it.
Yeah, maybe.
But then it leads right into, which I had a note about, when they fire Cox, but like that, and they do this so well on their writing. I mean, they did it in Lady Killers, right? Like, they where they just like dump you into this like conversation.
Oh yeah,
you have no idea what's going on, but yet they do such a good job of like writing the dialogue that you are so engaged and kind of intrigued by what's happening, even though you're like, what did they even talk? You don't know what they're talking about. And
you get there eventually. It's
eventually, you know why. But like,
I know what you mean. Yeah, just throws you in though. Yeah.
But I just thought that, like, I was like, this is hilarious. This is funny, and I'm like, and we still don't know what we're talking about because like everyone's so like, they're like, anyway.
Well, and then that goes to your point of just all the cast they got with this, because like John Malkovich is so great anyway, and so like he's great in this.
Yeah,
he's great at just like very angry and like just taking it up here. Yeah, he's so good at that. Yeah.
Yep.
I was also thinking about this movie. Now again, I don't know when they filmed these things, but No Country's 07, this is 08. So very, very close together. They did, I think there was only one other time where they did a movie so far, like 1 year apart. Normally it's at least 2 or more. Yeah. Lady Killers 05. Oh, Intolerable Cruelty, was that 03 or 04? That one I can't remember anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, I mean, I'm assuming this movie probably, well, maybe not though, because where they filmed out, I'm thinking this movie probably was a quicker filming than No Country.
Probably.
Right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But the, I mean, some of that's probably, who knows when they filmed No Country. I mean,
that's what I mean. Yeah, I don't know exactly when it came with the year. And
the difference between when they film something and then how much time they spend in post and then releasing. And then some of that release schedule can be more dependent on when the studios want things to hit the theater.
True.
Not just, so like you can end up with, So like, the timing of that stuff kind of, it's hard to know for sure.
Yeah, I'm always just curious about that because they're kind of all over the place with their, they don't really have a set as we've gone through all their movies so far. Hasn't been that consistent like year wise.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I know that's not always all on them for that, but
for sure.
Since you were talking about that opening scene, one of the lines I really liked is, what is John Malkovich's character's name?
Cox, his last name.
Oh yeah, he has a
Osborne. Cox.
Osborne. Yeah, because yeah. So yeah, when he is talking to the guy right next to him,
Mhm.
and he says, "I have a drinking problem."
the guy says to him, "You have a drinking problem."
Yeah, and he's like, really, I have a drinking problem. He's like, "You're a Mormon." He's like, next to you, everyone has a drinking problem. I thought that was good. That was a good line.
That was one that I thought about right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah, I did like that.
yeah.
I think again, speaking to the casting, like it's so convincing. The Tilda Swinton's character being like his wife, like you could see.
Oh yeah.
Like they seem like the type of people that would be married, and then that the whole where he's like, I have something to tell you, and she's like, not now. We have to, we have guests coming over, and so so they do this whole entertainment and all that stuff to everyone, and then he tells her later, and then she's like, why did you say something?
Yeah.
About he quit, not just getting fired,
because
they weren't really firing him.
No,
they were gonna like change jobs and change his classification, I guess, or something.
Yeah, but he basically took it as a fire. Yeah. Yeah. Also, I didn't recognize her that George Clooney's married to.
Yeah, I didn't
in this
recognize her either.
But yeah, kind of similar to what you're talking about with John Malkovich and Tilda Swinton too. But then, honestly though, it's like, and they were great too, but then it's like all three of them that work at the, what's it called? Hard Bodies Gym. Are great. Because that's Richard Jenkins, right? The boss, which he's always great, right?
Yeah.
I always think of, he's a dad in Step Brothers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I normally think. I mean, he's in a lot of stuff. He was just in some other Coen Brothers movies recently, but he was in The Man Wasn't There, at least. That's the one I remember he was in. But yeah, him, obviously Frances McDormand and Brad Pitt, like all three of them, I really liked all their interaction, but it's specifically when they're just at work too was great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I had that as like my next like I liked the whole scene where they find the CD and like and of course they just making these like jumping to conclusions
huge
about
jumps,
like that Brad Pitt does, his character, and then of course Frances McDormand's character is then seeing, hey, this is the way we can make some money and pay for my plastic surgery that she wants to get done.
Yeah.
And so then
it's so funny that literally the whole movie is around her plastic surgery, like, and
that's
that
what
comes
motivates
right, and it comes full circle all the way to the very end, which is just insane. That that's kind of what the whole movie is hinged on, and she's so adamant about it.
Yeah. It's funny that like, because I was kind of had this download, but like, what is this dating service that she's using? That all these, because even the one guy that she meets early, the first guy she meets through it, and then she checks and he's got that note in his wallet. And you assume, does that mean he's married too? Like his wife?
That's what I figured it was.
That's what I assumed. Yeah. And then later, when it's like, then of course later she meets George Clooney's character through that.
Yeah.
And then also even shows him meeting some other women kind of through it as well. And it's like, and why is the default let's meet in that row at the park on the park benches? Like,
I don't know. I had some questions about it too, because also she's on the phone with him so much, and it's like you have the internet, but still she's on the phone talking to I don't know, I guess the customer service for the dating site. I don't know. It was weird because she's on the site, and it's this weird period. I mean, so let's say like 08, like I don't see the need why she would have to be on the phone so much with it.
I don't know. I mean, you don't know when it took place per se. Like, it's not necessarily like I feel like they almost always set their movies back a little bit.
Well, I mean, if it doesn't say it's, I mean, normally if it's back at all, even if it's only a few years, it still would say on the screen somewhere. Or
No, I mean, I'm just saying in general, the whole movie set like
yeah,
might have been set just a little bit.
yeah, I guess. But I mean, it seemed pretty close to. I mean, it could have been 07 or yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
he's running around with he's iPod Nano on his sleeve.
Yeah, he had. Yeah, and he had. Yeah,
And-
so yeah, it would have still been. Yeah, so it couldn't have been much earlier than that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But did probably a few. I mean, like especially if it's just when they were like writing it, they might have been thinking more like 2000 or mid to earlier 2000s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it might be just like because the website's there for information, but then
Then you got to do the rest on the phone.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is a very weird dating app, whatever it
Situation.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it even say the name? I didn't see anything on it. I don't think it did. It was just showing the actual people on it. I don't think
Because
it.
she was talking to that one lady
Mhm.
first, and she's like, yeah, and she's like, oh yeah, I have a friend that found some interesting guys or special. I don't know, really. Yeah.
And she's just ignoring again, I don't know. I don't remember his character's name either, but Richard Jenkins the whole time
Mhm.
is just like always saying stuff to her.
Mhm.
And
Oh, you
she's
don't
just-
need it. You
yeah,
look good
she's
the way
just
you are.
completely
Yep.
the whole time.
So
I have this is kind of yeah, I guess it would have been probably around here. It's when that's right, I have his name down now, Chad, which is great that Brad Pitt's character's name is Chad. When he goes to Frances McDormand's house and he's looking around the fridge because he's like, man, I need to hydrate. And did you catch the line he said? He was like, because he's like, you have water, and she said tap, and he's like, do you have anything other than Maryland swamp water? Which I thought was a funny line.
yes, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Now you said that. Yeah.
But he kind of says under his breath, like when he's in the fridge. But yeah, that was great.
Yeah. Maryland swamp water.
Yeah,
What I'm drinking right here.
yeah. I would say I just drank a whole thing of it. Yeah, yeah. I did actually. I think it is more. That definitely played into it also, like my enjoyment of the movie.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Like just
It being around
being
here.
in
Yeah.
a recognizable
Mhm.
um
And I
setting, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll say in trivia, because like I said, some of the scenes I could definitely tell. I'm like, yeah, it's definitely DC, but other scenes I wasn't sure. So I'm wondering if they really
Yeah.
did do it
But even like
all.
some of those, like where like some of the houses were and stuff, they definitely look like the type of houses you would see
Mhm.
around here. They don't look like they were from
sure.
like West Coast stuff. So
Yeah.
even if they didn't film it all in DC, they probably filmed it in like in general, like one of the towns like Alexandria, Virginia,
Mhm.
or Bethesda, or
Yeah, it
somewhere
looks like any one of
somewhere.
those. Yeah.
Georgetown, something.
Mm-hmm.
So about when Chad sneaks in to find more information.
Oh yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
so a couple notes in the first of all, like no one takes that quick of a shower.
No, that
Like
was
dude, like he was like in there for like a hot second, and then like he was out drying off.
I know, and it was even weirder because I'm like he's waiting, and I thought that's when he was gonna leave.
That's the opportunity,
Right.
But then
But then he's like, "Oh, that was way too quick of a shower. You
Yeah.
didn't have enough time." But yeah,
I mean, they needed, I guess, for plot reasons.
yeah,
you know,
true. But it is weird. You're right.
But then that whole scene like was also crazy because then like it definitely caught me off guard when like how it played out with like him shooting him, and
That's the part I did not remember from watching it before. I don't remember him actually dying in this movie. So, yeah, that was unexpected. I didn't remember that's how that played out.
Mm.
But yeah, also though, I mean, I guess it plays into like we were talking about George Clooney's his character is paranoia because like how quickly he just
and then he runs and falls down the steps and then slowly makes his way back up.
Yeah,
once he has a knife or something.
And which is so weird.
He dropped the gun. I mean, like he obviously used the gun and then dropped it.
How did he not see what he did? Like, and he like took forever, right? Like you were saying, to get back up there, and he still wasn't sure if this dude was gonna be alive, like ready to. And I'm like, dude, you shot him in the head. I'm like, how'd you not see that you did that? It was
I don't know.
And his little like roll when he goes back in was so. Oh man.
Yep. I know this stuff's kind of out of order because then I'm like, the scene when Chad meets with Cox and tries to blackmail, like when they, well, it's funny on the phone when they try to blackmail him because he's not really blackmailing him. He's like, well, paid for the information.
Yeah.
But then later when they meet the car, it's so good when they're like in the car.
He's in the car with him. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like,
punches him.
He's very, I mean, obviously, again, it's another scene, John Malkovich doing what he does best, just like getting angry and like speaking very clearly and like how he does. But Brad Pitt, though, like his mannerisms and like his facial expressions in that scene were so great. It's just a very different character that I'm not used to him doing, but he's still so great.
Yeah. Actually, kind of reminds me a little bit of like when he guest stars on Friends. He's kind of trying to just play like because he was like no one liked him. He was not popular. He was like,
but still not that dumb.
No,
as in this movie, like
no, but he was still playing like he was.
You're
like,
right. Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah, that's probably the closest. Yeah. Yeah, that scene was great. But also would they say the amount? It was like 10,000. Like it wasn't even like
or 50,000 something.
Oh, was it? I thought it was only 10, which I'm like you could have.
I don't know.
That's not that high. For I don't know.
and then have after that like them going to the Russians, and then after like she just drives to the Russians, like she even rear ends them, which is ridiculous.
Yep.
Like I'm like, dude, this lady is getting crazy.
Oh yeah.
Like doing thousands of dollars of damage to your car just to.
The best is when close to the end when she's on the phone with the Russians, and she's like asking again to come back, and he's like, "No, I'm very busy," and she's like, "I'm coming anyway." And that that was that exchange was really good for that. But I have this is only really only other scene that I had to write down because the build up to it too also was so ridiculous. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do. So the basement scene.
Because when
I
he's
have a note on it.
okay,
I have it to bring it up too.
Okay, because when he's building it and it's so like mysterious, and even the music playing is like it's that's one spot where I think it's great what he was doing with the music, even because it's like very like suspenseful and like kind of like almost evil sounding. And you're like, man, what is this guy doing?
Well,
and then it's just
leading, like you said, leading up to it, like because at first I was like, is he just making something? Is he using it as a cover? Like he'd show up with materials.
I know that's what. Yeah,
and it's like I'm like because he was over sleeping with the other lady or whatever, and then he comes back with materials like he ran to Lowe's or something. Right. And so like you're like, oh, is this what he's doing? And then he's just pretending like he's making something, but no, he actually was making something. And then. So then he brings his date there first. Yeah. And yeah.
Yeah, it's just that scene's ridiculous. Just the reveal of it. And she's just amazed by it too.
Yeah. And then what else he's like, yeah, these are like $1,000 online, but I figured, yeah, I can make that for $100.
$100, yeah. Yeah. A couple trips to Home Depot or something, yeah. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like that is like the way they did that is what I kind of mean by the comedy in this is like better than like how they've done it in the
smarter,
past.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that had a whole build up too. It wasn't just the reveal, like how they set it up to where it's just like, man, this guy is doing something kind of really dark and sketchy. It seems
Yeah.
from the way they filmed it. I want to say too, like when him down in there and
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Oh yeah. And his wife's like, "What are you doing down there?"
usually top secret.
And speaking of which, like, I just put a note like, everyone is sleeping with everyone else
Yeah.
in this movie, including like he finally cut away to his wife on her book tour.
Oh, that's right.
And
Yeah,
then,
even
like
his
she's like
wife,
sleeping with like her, I don't know, like publicist or whoever that guy was,
Yeah.
and just like, but then obviously she was having him followed because that's why the guy from the Big Bang like that character, like
Right.
he sees him
At the end, and he's wondering, he's like,
yeah,
"Why are you following me?" And he's like,
your wife?
"Yeah, your wife." Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a crazy plot. Good also that when you were running through, only the Coens writing it too, which definitely helps. Because which one was it? Intolerable Cruelty. It was like
oh yeah, someone else.
it was like 3 different writers and not them at all. They were only directing, so they didn't even they didn't help out at all with the writing in that one.
Yeah.
But my last note is just, I don't know if this is something you've noticed, but once you do, it's like it's very true. Pretty much every Brad Pitt performance, he's chewing something. Every movie. And I don't know if it's just like to make him look cooler. Fight Club, this movie, let's see, even Benjamin Button, which is funny because of what that movie's about.
I've never noticed that, but yeah.
Oh yeah, you will now if you see a movie, because I already had that, like already knew about that, and then going to this, I was like, I wonder if he will, and he was chewing gum. It's like it's a thing for him. I don't know what it is. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there is a movie that he hasn't, and I can't think of one. Almost every movie he's doing some kind. He's either eating. Oh, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Same thing. He's eating a lot in that. So it's like something where, while he's doing like dialogue, even he's chewing something. Yeah.
I was trying to like, what about Meet Joe Black?
That one I don't remember because I haven't seen that movie in a while. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
You know, revisit that one. Who's the director?
I don't know.
That's another one I have to check out maybe.
Yeah. So like the last note I had on just this stuff is just J.K. Simmons.
Mm-hmm. He's great.
And at the ending is just these last couple times they come back to him and they give him like the update. So I love that line. It was like, just just get back to me when it makes sense.
Yeah, that was a good line. Yeah.
And he's like, what? This guy, what?
Which, by the way,
he's dead? No, he's in a coma. He's like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. The other quote I had was, I think it's the first time they go see the Russians. They hand the CD and he says, PC or Mac. That was my other quote.
Right. No, that was good. Yeah.
But it's just there's like those couple scenes also. Just another like great comedic thing is Chad just, when he's listening to music, and just his stupid dances he kept doing was so great in this.
And kind of singing, which you can't hear any of it, like, because it's in his headphones.
But even like he's in the car like waiting and staking out the place, and he's still doing it in that too. It's just it's good.
Cool. So yeah, get into a little bit of cinematography.
I hope you have some, because I don't have anything specific.
Got stuff like, so there was some cool like low tracking shots of feet, like anytime they were like at the CIA, like things are moving around.
Oh yeah.
And that was kind of cool. Kind of
even at the very opening scene,
right after the zoom in, the closet scene was like they had they used really tight shots to make it feel claustrophobic. And I thought that was
Well, and
well
then
done.
I mean the POV too of
Yeah.
him peeking out
Yeah.
too, right?
So, yeah, you did a really good job of making you feel like you were in there with them, and the feeling of suspense.
Mm-hmm. Pretty. I want to say, yeah, and that POV shot also, um, definitely kind of longer too. I don't remember there being a cut where it's like him going to the bathroom,
Yeah, when you watch it
shower,
and get
coming
ready.
out, walking around, doing some stuff. I think that was all. Maybe there was a cut
Might
in
have been
there,
cut in
but
there.
yeah.
Just I think noticing the way they use lighting, right? So, like the gym itself was
Mhm.
like lit very a little more flat and just bright, and so it's like, oh yeah, it's gym. And then same when she was at the doctor's with the plastic surgeon, kind of like that. But then, like later when they're doing other stuff that's like more spy stuff, like whatever, like then it's definitely a more like moody kind
Mhm.
of thing. And especially when we were speaking of the Russians, like when they go to the Russian embassy and it's like so much like just dark and long halls and like,
And
the
like
building
no
itself,
people
there's
really
like
either.
no one
Yeah.
there, and
Mhm.
like it um
That definitely the outside of that building definitely looked like one of the buildings in
yeah, I mean,
DC or something, or like
yeah,
in for
yeah, for
sure.
sure, yeah, but I don't know if it's really the Russian embassy,
No, but it looks like one of those
but just those
buildings
big
down there. Yeah.
concrete buildings that they
Mhm.
have down.
Yep.
The then kind of circling to some of those comedic moments that we were referring to earlier that we thought worked well. I think, and one of the reasons they work from a cinematic standpoint was they just kind of let them be these wider shots that are locked off and just there
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, like where it's like not like that, and then all of a sudden it's like when he reveals the machine he built in the basement, and it's like just kind of like letting it kind of be, and it's like a wider just like static shot that's also doesn't have everything's in focus, not a lot of shallow depth of field, just to kind of give it like this more
Mm-hmm.
kind of just awkwardness to it, right? I think, and the same with interaction in the car when they Brad Pitt and John Malkovich are like
Oh yeah.
arguing. It's like kind of the same thing. It's a little bit more awkward. The same with and the CIA agents as well. Like all the times that they're like kind of having those meetings is just like this wide camera that's like everything's in focus, and it's just letting them like be the awkward conversations that they're kind of silly conversations that they're having.
Yeah, I haven't never really thought about that using specific camera angles, but also like the timing of it and the editing for like comedic timing, right? It's not all about just like the dialogue for comedic timing,
Right.
but yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's cool though, yeah. To make it like, like you said, that scene, make it
Well,
more awkward the way you're just holding on it and
yeah. There's so much you can there's so many feelings and emotions you can convey on how you use a camera,
Mhm.
framing wise. If it's static, moving, handheld, motion, like all those things give a different feeling and emotion just by what you're, longer lenses, wider lenses, shallow depth of field, not like all those things. And so if you're, a good director, cinematographer, whatever, whoever's making the decisions on that, it can be either or. Those are should be intentional for one. And I was just rewatching, but a commercial I did a while back about like kind of depression and loneliness, like
Mm-hmm.
being, especially it was like during early COVID that we did, and then just reaching out and talking to somebody and visiting somebody. And so we shot this grandmother like by herself, and she had two recliner chairs with like an end table in between. So like we even, framed it so you're like see the empty chair. She's looking at the empty chair. She picks up a frame, like a framed photo of her and her husband who is no longer there. So like, and this in reality it happened to this lady that we were, like it was her husband had passed. But and that's like a just slow push in and static shots, kind of showing this and showing time passing and just her kind of feeling lonely and then as we're kind of pushing it on her, then you start to hear these kids in the background. And just as you start to hear the kids in the background, she turns to kind of look like oh, someone's here kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And just as we do that, the camera shifts mid shot to being handheld. And,
okay.
And then there starts to be like this little bit of life in the camera, which adds to the shift in the feeling.
Yes.
And it works so well. Like it's one of those things where like even though you storyboard it and you have it written on paper, and then when an execution when it works, you're just like, yeah. And even when I watch it back, I'm like, and that was intentional. That was a decision I made I was like, I want this feeling to change here. Now you can do it in a cut, which was how I storyboarded it. But then when we were there on set, I said to the DP, I was like, do you think you could do it mid shot? So we had the camera just sitting in it's kind of like a bowl thing for the dolly part. And so it was sitting in there, but not, normally you have it like screwed down.
Oh, so you can lift.
So basically he could like dolly and it'd be like, feel like it was static and then right at the right moment, like pick it up and kind of bring, and we ended up doing it and ended up working.
Yeah.
But those things you just try on it. But so it's like, anyway, it's a little side tangent.
No, I do, I know what you mean with like the purpose of like the handheld where that shakiness is in there for like dramatic effect a lot of times and stuff, yeah. Right? The only thing that bothers me is is when they go too extreme with that, where it's too shaky.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I've seen that before too, and
yeah, there was a time in the 90s when I think it was 90s when it got like real popular.
Oh really? Like, for like that much of
to go like with the like early Bourne movies was also like fast cuts and like very shaky like
that is
for
true,
fight scenes.
Yeah, that gets
and it was like in the moment that like for a year or two you're like, oh, it's cool, but then like
because it makes it quote unquote intense, but then it's like
now it's like overdone and then everyone's like, you can't even see what's happening.
No. That
just
is
a
true.
Cheap cop out,
Yeah.
Like you can just
compare that to like how they do John Wick now.
Yes,
still a lot of cuts, but
yeah,
the way they're not doing like this crazy shaky. Actually, pretty much all of it's pretty smooth and probably all in
steady cam or something. Probably.
Yeah,
I can't.
Right.
Or
it seems like a lot of those shots because even when they do
jib or crane.
Yeah, where they got to do some crazy, even almost like 360, like a Matrix thing, but not a Matrix thing. It's like
Yeah, cool. Anyway, I just got a little side tangent, but
that's cool.
There was some cool stuff in there like that.
So they still picked someone good. I have to look and see what this guy did and like kind of when he started.
Yeah,
I don't know where he was
like
at
some of those years. Yeah, what he did right around
in
this.
08, yeah.
But like not too long after Gravity and The Revenant. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's like Revenant. I think is 2015. Gravity is probably like 13 or 14. They were pretty close together. I want to say.
Yeah.
So I wonder what else he's done and like what he's done most recently too. I'll have to see.
Yeah. All right, so that's kind of all I had for the cemetery. What do you have anything for the score besides?
I just a little bit. I mean, there is a full score in this, which is cool.
Yeah. This might be a reason why I liked it a little more than some of the others too.
Yeah. I liked the score more in this. Not very memorable though. There was really only one kind of reoccurring theme that I heard a lot in there, which was good. But normally, you think of at least some of my favorite composers, very specific melodies that really.
Yeah. Because I would, to your point, like
that really get stuck
Like
in
I
your
didn't
head.
when
Yeah.
you said it, I was like, oh yeah, I guess there was music. Like
Yeah, so
nothing like that was not a thing I noticed while I was watching it.
it didn't stand out anything really.
No.
Yeah.
And normally, I think I've just gotten so used to most of these films don't that like that I've been watching of theirs.
Well, I mean, and it's, the last one there literally was nothing. Like,
yes,
and even before that, very little. So yeah, you're kind of used to that now with it. So
but there was nothing that was like, oh, that I hear that and that's kind of cool or whatever. Which
no, I mean
sometimes-
there was some interesting stuff, but yeah, nothing really stand out. So, and I don't know what it is because like our one write-in recently said they liked Carter Burwell's style a lot, and I've seen it from other people too. Oh well, Peter was saying also he really likes a lot of his stuff, right? Not just Fargo. I think he mentioned he likes a lot of
yeah.
his stuff. I don't know what I'm missing because I'm still like, again, I
Yeah,
don't want to
with
say
you.
he's
I'm with
bad,
you.
but like he's not, I don't know if I really like his style,
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm with you because like Fargo is still the only thing I'm like, oh, that's gotta. And I think it might partially be because of me watching the TV series first, and it
You're
being
familiar with
it. But it's also being used in a little bit more, lack of a better way to say, traditional way in there, where it's a little bit more present and so as soon as I heard it in the film the first time, like rated whatever it was toward the beginning, I was like, ooh, I had that feeling of like conveyed a feeling of like, oh yeah, I know this is Fargo, but I don't know if it, obviously there's no way to know if I would have picked up on it as much not have seen the TV show, but
yeah, I would say so far though this movie I think has the most music. Like it's consistently a score though. Like most of the scenes there was something going on though. So I appreciate that. It's just it was not very memorable, unfortunately.
so themes and messages.
I have one thing for this, and it's actually literally a line at the very end
Okay.
that J.K. Simmons says. He says, "What did we learn? Guess we learned not to do it again." And I put that down like, there you go. There's your message. It was almost one of the last lines I think he says before
you're
it
right.
ends.
It is.
So I
It's
was
right
like,
there at the
I'm
end.
going to put that in. That's
Because then it zooms out. Like
yeah, he closes the
Yep.
yeah, and
the
then
file,
it goes
and
back out.
it's like
Yeah.
overhead shot of the file and it zooms out.
Mhm.
The
So like, no matter the situation that everyone was in, it's like you learn not to do it again. I mean, that's basically what we were saying about. But even in what with their point of view too. But I think you could basically with everyone's situation in this movie.
yeah, I just put like I think it just speaks to the randomness of life and human behavior. Like
Oh yeah,
because like we talked about, but like again, the same with intolerable cruelty
mm-hmm.
and
Similar, yeah.
yeah, similar, like where there's just like they like to write these things where these hodgepodge of a mixture of like random people that cross paths with each other and then somehow are connected loosely and end up crossing paths again in kind of this chaotic manner. Like I said, I think this is the best version they've done of that yet. But
sure.
But yeah, I think it's just like people are unpredictable, life is unpredictable,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing is what it seems, right? Like
Definitely not.
but yeah, let me
I
get some trivia here.
yeah, I'm very excited for next week's movie because I don't know anything about it, but I've heard the name and I've heard that it's good. A Serious Man. So I don't know. This will be interesting also because I'm not sure if cinematography wise, I'm wondering what you'll think because I'm not sure if they stick with this guy or go back to Deakins.
Right.
Because I want to say they do go back, like you were mentioning last, or maybe a couple. I get mixed up now because we're like behind on their movie things as they as they get published. So I don't know which one you mentioned it on,
Right.
but you were saying that, um, which movie was it? Where he kind of started to go with Sam Mendes, right? But then kind of jump back and forth, and I'm just pretty sure he still goes back to the Coens.
At some point.
Yeah, at some point. So
Probably. So to start off, they wrote the character Osborne and Cox with John Malkovich in mind, and then Brad Pitt's character was also written with the actor in mind, inspired by a commercial for which he suffered a similar haircut and dye job.
commercial that Brad Pitt did.
I guess.
Nice.
George Clooney has stated he learns a lot from the Coen Brothers for his career as a director. He tries to have things running the same way the Coens do on their films, even hiring their storyboard artists.
Nice. I didn't know he did much directing.
So the building that was used for the Hard Bodies gym was actually in New Jersey.
Okay. So there we go. We got
And
one location at least. None.
They did such a good job at making it look like a real place that locals came in inquiring about membership.
Nice.
You know, you did good art direction.
Yeah, but that's
Except
funny.
the-
They don't really. The people are just going like they don't really close off the set that much. Where people are just.
and you're building it out, maybe.
I guess so. Yeah.
Not while they were filming. They said that it says they wrote the screenplay for this at the same time as they were writing screenplay for No Country for Old Men.
Hmm.
They usually alternate every other day for each script. So there's kind of a reason why then they would film them back to back.
Yeah.
Almost, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that explains it. 1 year apart.
The costume designer says even cheap suits look good on Brad Pitt.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's in that bigger suit.
Yeah,
For,
she said that they purposely had to
Yeah, they
build
purposely
something
made it
that
like
was
that. Yeah.
bad and ill-fitted
Mhm.
just to make it look bad. This is the third film that George Clooney was in by the directors, and they've dubbed this the trilogy of idiots.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the many issues, which I know you had an issue with this too, with Intolerable Cruelty, though, is like he does basically become an idiot in that, Miles, but like that's not how he starts.
Mm.
Like he's very
Supposed to be a very competent lawyer.
yeah, and like thinks things through, but then like he completely
Yeah. Love will make you crazy, I
well,
guess.
that's true.
So the fake film in the movie Coming Up Daisy states that it was based on a book by Cormac McCarthy. McCarthy actually wrote the book No Country for Old Men,
Sure did.
upon which the Coen Brothers based the movie on. Poster
Mhm.
also shows that the fictional Daisy film was directed by Sam Raimi, a friend and collaborator.
Nice. It is funny that they got those actors too, just for
Just for the poster.
yeah,
like, a
and
couple
for the
scenes,
scenes that they're watching. Yeah.
When they go to the theater to watch Coming Out Daisy, the board displaying Showtime's lists Hail Caesar as one of the films showing at the theater. This is a reference to the 2016 film,
Wow. So they were already playing it that early on.
which would not be produced for 8 more years.
Yeah. Jeez. By the way, I'm excited to get to that because I really like that movie, and that's a contentious one. A lot of people hate it. I think it's awesome though, and I don't think you've seen that, have you?
Mm.
Cool.
The film was mostly shot in and around New York because the Coen brothers wanted to stay near their families and because George Clooney was working on another project in the same area. So they filmed most of it in New York.
Whoa. That's interesting. It looked very DC to me.
Mm-hmm. They did.
So they did a good job then.
But then now that they say that, like the park bench stuff
That looked like Central
very,
Park.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
But I mean, the houses though looked
you're
very
right.
DC. Yeah. Or even like you said, the surrounding suburb type areas.
This is the first Coen Coen Brothers film not photographed by Roger Deakins since Miller's Crossing.
Yep.
He was unavailable, having committed to shoot Revolutionary Road.
There it is. Yep.
In 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wonder what else he did in these like years, because we're basically covering all of Deakins, especially like throughout the 2000s, like everything he's done. I wonder how many movies he did, a year. I wonder what else he did.
Excluding the end credit song, the F word and its derivatives is used 62 times, mostly by Osborne Cox.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Including 6 times in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah. Pretty much every John Malkovich movie uses it a lot. By the way, have you seen the movie Being John Malkovich?
I have not.
That is an awesome movie. Very meta, too. It's another one. Gotta look up these directors. I'm thinking these movies. I'm like, man, maybe this is something we can do.
Yeah, it's probably
You've heard of that one, though, right? The actual movie called Being John Malkovich?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll say, yeah, it was pretty big when it came out.
Cool. Well, I think that's enough to, enough trivia.
Oh, Spike Jonze.
Cool.
Sorry, yeah, what?
Is there any final thoughts on this one?
No.
What do you
everyone
visual
check it
listeners think? Let us know. Have you seen this film?
Audio listeners and visual listeners. Yeah, if you haven't, check it out. It's good.
It was good. It was good. It was worth watching for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let us know. Send us a comment or feedback. Email feedback@screentimepod.com. Comment on YouTube. DM us.
Yeah, get write in stuff so we can have.
So we have a little more feedback section.
Yeah, we
again.
do feedback at the beginning of all these. Yeah.
Next week we will be discussing A Serious Man.
Yep.
So this is not a comedy.
Or is it?
I don't know.
But like I said,
the man is serious. Maybe the rest of it.
Exactly.
He
might be the only. Yeah, he might be the only serious part of it. Yeah.
All right. Stay tuned. You'll have to come back. Check it out. If you want to follow either one of us on Instagram, I'm at JYoungBar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
All right. We'll talk to you guys next week.